Hey, everybody, it's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing okay. Thanks for being here. You know, my favorite thing, I tell you all the time, it's to talk to people who are doing awesome things, and we're going to do that today. Look, when a market is declining, you've got to get purposeful in finding people to do business with you and seeing the opportunity that's out there. And today we're going to see what Jessica's doing. Jessica, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Would you introduce yourself to us? Tell us who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your business?
Yes, I'm Jessica Maddern with the Maddern team in Dallas, Texas. And we're a husband and wife team. There's 8 of us total. We have 4 producing agents and the rest on operations, both in-house and overseas. So we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thanks for sharing. You're doing great stuff. And one thing we're going to talk about today is the idea of a best buy list that you're using with investors. Gary teaches us in Shift, right? If anyone's ever read Shift, we talk about it all the time. He talks about best buy lists in here. And you guys have done that. And it's had a massive impact on your business. In 2023, you're going to get what? Almost a quarter of your business from investors. That's up big time from last year, right?
Yes, last year we had about 6.5% of our business from investors, and now up this year to about 23%.
It's amazing. And by the way, you don't just sell a couple of houses. You guys will do somewhere between 60 and 70 units this year, which is up from 52 last year. You did a house a week last year, and you're doing a little bit more than that this year. So we're going to walk through it. We're going to talk a little bit about how you did this, because I think the way you started this process was first by doing some investor workshops. Tell us a little bit about your investor workshops, and then we'll build it from there.
Sure. We started with the MREI workshop. I went on kellerinc.com, downloaded the workshop, made it my own. My coach was doing the same workshop, so took hers and then looked at the MREI and just made it our own and started offering it. My husband, Brad, and I invest in properties as well. And so we thought, okay, our clients that have purchased with us before, how could they take the equity in their homes or additional cash that they have and buy more properties with us? They already like, know, and trust us. And so how could they get another return on another investment property or their first investment property? So we started offering these workshops, and the Best Buy list was a way for, at the end of the workshop, for them to opt into something that we were already doing. So that's how it really started.
All right, so you offered this to your database of past clients and said, hey, who's interested in investing? I think you probably did some social media advertising and stuff like that as well. But my guess would be a majority of these people are people that you already had in your database. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. People that either were interested in investing or knew somebody that they wanted to invite that they thought would be interested in investing for the first time.
Got it. All right, so you download the free workshop. It's on kellerinc.com. You click Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and there's a whole bunch of resources that Gary is giving you for free. And so I love that you're using them. So you did these workshops, and then you need a MOFR, right, at the workshop. So we MOFR, make offer for immediate response. So you need to take them from workshop now to next step. That's where the best buy list came in, which is, hey, do you want to? What was the conversation? How did that go?
Well, what we had our agents do was go ahead and look in the MLS to see if there were properties that would make sense as an investment opportunity. And so we had, at the time, there were 3 of us producing agents. So each of us found 2 out of the MLS that we thought would be good buys. We put them together on an e-newsletter, essentially. And we talked about why we thought they were a best buy, and then quick stats about the property, and said, hey, these are great properties just hiding in our own MLS. Let's get them out there. And so the opt-in was at the end of the workshop. If you're interested in learning about these kind of properties from us, and some of them were even like sellers who maybe didn't want to deal with showings or just weren't quite ready yet, that maybe wanted to list at a later date or something, we would even put those on there, and of course not disclose the address for coming soon reasons, etc., but just give them a few details about the property. And so that would be our best buy list. And so at the end of the workshop, it was a way for people to opt in, get details about upcoming properties or properties that were already on the MLS that were great buys. And then it allowed us to continue the conversation with our people that we've just educated about how to purchase an investment property and what that could do for them in their lives.
Okay, it's really smart. So the question everyone wants to know is, well, how do you determine what's a best buy? What are the standards? What are the things you're looking for to determine whether or not a house goes on the list?
Well, good question. So I actually set myself up for a certain type of search. So whenever this started, we started noticing more days on market. So I actually set myself up on a search in really popular suburbs of our area. We service the greater Dallas area. So some major suburbs around our area that had more than 30 days on the market, we were seeing those properties take big price reductions or be selling for way under their original list price. So that was an indicator of an investor opportunity to get a property well under market value. So I set myself up on safe searches for those, looking for properties that seemed like they were in pretty good condition, either turnkey for a buy and hold, or maybe need a little bit of work that somebody would be willing to do. We even advertise our own listings. I mean, why wouldn't your own listing be a good buy for somebody? It doesn't have to be necessarily for an investor to flip or to put a little bit of work into. I mean, you can have a turnkey property, even a midterm rental, short-term rentals. I mean, you think about outside the box about what makes a property a good buy and highlight what makes it a potential, and you get people's wheels to start turning.
I like it. Okay, so let's walk through a couple of things. So you said one thing you're looking for are big price reductions. That shows what a motivated seller or somebody that's looking to do something. So that's one. All right. So and then another one would be something that's already a rental that's come on the market. Is that what you said?
Yep. There's people that are listing short-term rentals that maybe they like a lot of short-term rental laws are changing in our area.
Right.
And so somebody that doesn't want to flip that into a regular long-term rental, or doesn't have the capacity to change it to a midterm rental or something like that, that might be a good opportunity. So just highlighting how the property could be used differently.
And then some of your own listings, how are you deciding which listings go on the best buy list and which don't? I imagine is that a conversation you have with the seller to walk them through as you're pricing it, or what? What does that look like?
I mean, why wouldn't every one of your listings be a great buy? So it's another way to highlight your own inventory, get it out to another group of people. Even if it's not the perfect opportunity for somebody to flip it, it still could be a great buy, and you can highlight exactly why that is.
I like it. All right, so this list is going out. This is where I about fell out of my chair when you told me this. You're going to do 70 units this year. A quarter of it is from this investor group. How many people are in the investor group?
Sure. We have 66 subscribers right now. Yeah.
It's not a massive number, and yet it's bringing you significant return. So what's the secret? How are you getting that kind of return off 66 people?
Well, when we started sending our Best Buy list after the investor workshops as opt-ins, but we also started sending it to our regular e-newsletter list. And we have a total in our database of about 4,400 people. And we're sending our regular e-newsletter to about 3,200 of those people. And we have an agent newsletter, and then some people we just don't have an email address for. So it turns out to be 3,200 people. So that was one way that we got more opt-ins. We don't want to just send Best Buys to people that aren't interested. So at the beginning, we did send the Best Buy list out to everybody in our database just to get them interested and opt in. And so, that was one way that we built up that database. But from then on, it's just advertising it. Every once in a while, we'll sprinkle in, hey, are you interested in investing in real estate? Opt into our Best Buy list in our regular database, or into our regular e-newsletter list.
And are you still doing seminars? Because the original group of 30 or so people came out of a seminar. This addition of 30 others came from your e-newsletter. So are seminars still part of your game plan?
Yes, definitely. And we did basically repeat the same seminar twice. So last fall, we did an investor workshop, and we repeated the exact same thing in January. And we had some of the same people that were in the fall come to the one in January. And it was interesting to see them come back. They wanted to relearn the information or hear it again to glean something different. And then now they're asking for really a drill down on the information. Like, how do I actually analyze a property to see if it's going to cash flow? So that's our next step, is to do a little bit of a deeper dive.
Is this what you thought was going to happen when you decided to do this? That you thought you were going to all of a sudden, grow the business? Because your business is up. This is what I find interesting. You did 52 units last year. You're going to do around 70 this year. The growth in your business is from the investors, period. In a market that's down 2 years in a row, your business is growing. And yet I look at it, all of the growth is coming from this investor stuff. Is that what you thought was going to happen?
No, we put these investor workshops on thinking this would be a good way to find home buyers. So, a lot of especially millennial home buyers identify themselves as investors instead of first-time home buyers. So that was our original thought. And so it really grew from that original thought process.
It's really, really smart. I think you're a genius. You and your husband are both absolute geniuses on what you're doing. I think it's great. The question that I'd ask is, if someone were looking at this and wanted to do the same thing, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think first to do the investor workshop. I mean, if you're doing, like Brad and I are already investing in real estate, and so we can talk about our own experience. You're already an expert in this real estate realm. So share your experience and what's been working. If you're not an investor yourself, then what's working for your clients who are. And then teach the workshops. You're already an expert in it, so go ahead and teach it. And then I would send the Best Buy list to your whole database systematically to begin with. And I think something that's really helped us too is our agents who are picking these Best Buys out of our own MLS. It's really teaching them how to analyze a property too. So they're able to become an expert on picking properties, finding good buys, and teaching their clients too, individually. And I really think doing this with something you're already doing, either an e-newsletter or a workshop, and giving another item of value. I think that's really key.
Yeah, it is. I think it's absolutely perfect. You have a playbook on how to do this and what your process is, along with some examples that are available to our Inspire members. So those of you who are part of Inspire, you can go to jamesdshaw.com and log in, and all of Jessica's stuff is there. Is there anything that, as you've put this process together, that surprised you?
Oh gosh, that surprised me. We had one client. We had one client that was interested in a Best Buy that we had put out. And just because let me back up. We had one client that was interested in a Best Buy, and he contacted us and said, "Hey, I'm interested in this property." By the time that he got around to contacting us, of course, it was a good buy. It was already gone off the market. And we took that opportunity to find other properties that he was interested in. So just because you're finding these properties and they might sell, or they are going to be gone quickly, it's just a good opportunity to connect with people. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with other individuals who it's just a good entry point into talking about their wealth and the future. I think that's probably been the most surprising thing is I already know these people, and I just didn't know about their dreams. Like you talk about the Ford conversation all the time. And very rarely do you get to the D, like the dreams part of it. And this is part of a lot of people's dream, is to have an investment property or passive income in some way. And so this allows you to have that entry point conversation.
All right, that's really good, because our job is to add value to the people in our database that choose to do business with us. We can't do it unless we know what their dreams are. Now you discover all of a sudden that somebody does want to grow their wealth through real estate. It seems like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that there are times that you are looking in the MLS for something, you're inputting your own listing on a listing appointment, or you've logged in looking for a buyer, and a house pops up, and you immediately think of someone in this investor group that it would be a good fit for. Has that happened? And then if so, what's happened from that?
Absolutely. I call them immediately and say, "Hey, have you thought about this property? I'm thinking about adding it to the Best Buy list, but wanted to let you know about it first." So that happens. And then if they're not interested or the timing's not right, then we'll add it to the Best Buy list, see if somebody else is interested in it.
I feel like you get a real connection with your people.
Mm-hmm.
That group of 60 or so get really connected to you. When you send something to them, I imagine your open rate has got to be ridiculous with this group of people, that they're actually reading the emails and responding. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. Okay. So I have some statistics.
I like that. I like data. Tell me about it.
Our regular e-newsletter, so just the one that goes out to the 3,200 people, our regular average open rate is 54% on that e-newsletter. We send it twice a month, which I think is pretty good.
That's really good.
And then our regular click-through rate on the e-newsletter is 8%. Well, on the Best Buy list, when it goes out, our average open rate is 63%, so it's higher. And our click-through rate is double, so it's 16%.
Do you follow up? Are you tracking that and seeing who's clicking on what and then calling them?
Yes, absolutely.
What do you say?
Hey, I was just thinking about you. I'm curious if you're still in the market to buy an investment property. I've seen a couple of good things come up and wanted to check in. It'd be creepy if you said, "Hey, I saw that you clicked on my email." So we just check in and see what their plans are.
Seems like a really warm conversation, that these are people are happy to talk to you.
Absolutely. I mean, we're just trying to offer them opportunities and make sure that they know that they're top of mind with us.
All right. So what's next for you guys? What are you going to do next to continue to grow this opportunity?
We have to be more systematic about how we add subscribers. That's our biggest thing. And then also how we, as the market's changing, especially with interest rates and investor rates, maybe I really think that there's an opportunity for investors to partner with each other. So how can we connect people within our Best Buy list? If they're interested in partnering with each other, they don't even know each other. So I think maybe some kind of a mixer with our group, if they're interested in partnering together on a property or a project, I think that's really interesting. And then doing a deeper dive on how to analyze a property for people who are just getting started. So I think that's the biggest challenge right now is the financing side of just being a first-time investor.
Jessica, you're changing lives. I mean, I think I listened to what you're doing. You have some people that probably had been investors previously. You have others, I imagine, in your group that have invested for the first time through what you've taught them. This is life-changing stuff, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. And Brad and I look at it as an opportunity too. I mean, we have a pool now of 66 people that we could partner with too.
Yep. Right.
So that's really great too.
Yeah. Well, final thoughts for people as we wrap up?
Just get out there and do it. It doesn't have to look exactly like what we're doing. Make it your own. I mean, we heard this idea obviously from the Shift book, but a couple other people from Family Reunion over the years, and we just started implementing it. Start doing it. Get it out there.
That's smart. Well, again, thanks for sharing. And again, Inspire members, that's my private mastermind group. You have the playbook and samples of what Jessica's sending there at jamesdshaw.com. Jessica, thank you for sharing with us. I appreciate you. Congratulations to you and your husband and the team on the success. Keep it going. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Thanks for having me.